You know that feeling when you check your investment statement and the returns just don't seem to line up with how well the market is doing? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle is something that works in the shadows: fees. They look so small on paper, but trust me, over time, they can take a massive, massive bite out of your savings. We're going to find out just how big that bite can be. So let's start with the big question. You see a 1%, maybe a 2% fee listed somewhere, and you think, yeah, what's 1%? How bad can it really be? It seems like nothing, right? Well, the answer to that, when you stretch it out over a few decades, is honestly pretty shocking. Okay, check this out. Let's imagine two people, both smart investors. They each start with 100 grand. And let's say they both get a solid 9% return every year. Everything is identical except for one tiny detail: the fee. Investor A pays a 1.5% fee. Investor B pays 2.5%. Fast forward 40 years. Investor A, their portfolio is sitting pretty at over $1.8 million. And Investor B, well, they've only got just over $1.2 million. That is a difference of more than $500,000. It just vanished. Poof. Gone. That is the incredible, destructive power of that tiny 1% fee, quietly working against you year after year after year. It's not a small leak in your financial boat, it is a gaping hole. So the question is, where is all this money actually going? Well, the main culprit has a name. It's called the management expense ratio, or as you'll almost always see it, the MER. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's really inside that number. So the MER, in simple terms, is the biggest ongoing fee you're likely to pay. It's an annual charge, and it's calculated as a percentage of your total investment. And here's the kicker. It gets deducted from your returns every single year, whether your fund had a great year or a terrible one. And, the MER isn't just one single fee. Oh no, it's more like a cocktail of different costs all mixed together. You've got the fee for the manager, a commission for your advisor, all the operating expenses, and even taxes, all bundled up into that one little percentage. So let's break that down real quick. The net management fee, that pays the person or team that's actually picking the stocks. The trailer fee, that goes to your advisor for their ongoing service. Then you've got operating expenses. This is for all the boring but necessary stuff, like legal and accounting. And yep, you're even paying taxes on the service. But wait, there's more. The MER is just one piece of the puzzle. Sometimes there are also one-time costs you have to deal with when you buy or sell a fund. These are known as sales charges or commissions. Now, these usually come in two main flavors. First, you've got a front-end sales charge. Think of this like a cover charge at a club. You pay it right when you walk in the door when you first buy the fund. Then there's the deferred sales charge, or DSC. This one you pay on the way out, when you sell, but typically only if you sell within a certain number of years. Really, the only difference is when you pay. Let's make this real with a quick example. Say you want to invest $10,000 in a fund, and it has a 2% front-end load. Well, right off the top, $200 is taken out as the sales charge. That means only $9,800 of your money actually gets invested and has a chance to grow. You're starting the race from behind from day one. Okay, I get it. Hearing about all these fees can feel a little disheartening, maybe even a bit sneaky. But here's the really good news. You have rights. There are rules in place specifically to make sure you have access to every last bit of this information. That's right, it's the law. Financial institutions are legally required to disclose every single fee. So this info isn't buried in some dusty old vault. You just need to know where to find the map. And your most powerful tool, your map, is a document called the Fund Facts. It's a short, easy-to-read summary that every mutual fund has to give you before you invest. And you'll want to flip right to the section that says, how much does it cost? It lays out the MER, the sales charges, everything, in plain English. This little document gives you some serious power. You have the right to get it before you hand over any money. You have the right to change your mind and withdraw your purchase within 2 business days. And if there's anything misleading in that document, you have the right to cancel the whole deal. Knowledge isn't just power here, it's your protection. All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil it all down to the absolute must-know takeaways from all of this. First, and I cannot say this enough, never, ever underestimate the power of a small fee. As we saw, a tiny 1% difference can literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime of investing. It is a huge deal. Second, remember that the MER, as important as it is only part of the story. You have to look for those other costs, like sales charges, to get the full picture of what your investment is truly costing you. And finally, the most critical takeaway of all, always, always, always read the fun facts document before you invest a single dollar. Think of it as your guide, your map to understanding exactly what's going on with your money. So I'll leave you with this final thought. High fees are not automatically evil. Sometimes they might come with incredible performance or amazing service. The point is, now that you know how to see the costs clearly, you can take a hard look at your own investments and ask the most important question of all. Are you getting your money's worth?